Can you imagine being thrown out of a place you love just for letting a tear fall? Picture a small-town diner in 1973, the kind with red vinyl booths and a jukebox humming Elvis in the corner. The air smells of fresh coffee and warm apple pie. A woman sits alone, her hands trembling around a chipped mug. Her name's Evelyn, and she's about to face a moment that could break her or change everything. What could a janitor of all people do to turn her world around? Evelyn Harper, 62, sat in Rosie's diner in Willow Creek, Indiana. It was a chilly November evening, and the neon sign outside buzzed softly. She'd been coming here since she was a girl, when her daddy would spin her on the counter stools. Now, the diner was her refuge. Her husband, George, had passed 6 months ago, and the loneliness clung to her like damp autumn leaves. Tonight, she'd found an old photo in her purse, her and George at the drive-in theater, laughing under the stars. Her eyes welled up. "Ma'am, you all right?" asked Betty, the waitress, her voice kind but hurried. Evelyn nodded, dabbing her eyes with a napkin. "Just missing someone." Betty gave a sympathetic smile and moved on. But the new manager, Mr. Caldwell, wasn't so kind. He was a wiry man with a slick comb-over, more interested in profits than people. He'd been watching Evelyn from the counter, his lips pursed. Crying customers, he thought, drove others away. He strode over, his shoes clicking on the checkered floor. "Ma'am," he said, voice sharp, "this ain't a place for tears. You're upsetting folks. Time to go." Evelyn froze. "Tomb, sorry, I didn't mean." "Out," he cut her off, pointing to the door. A few regulars glanced up, but no one spoke. Evelyn gathered her purse, the photo slipping to the floor. She left it there, too shaken to notice. The bell above the door jingled as she stepped into the cold, her heart heavy with shame. How could a place so full of memories turn her away? Outside, the wind bit at Evelyn's cheeks. She pulled her coat tight, unsure where to go. The diner's glow mocked her from across the lot. That's when she heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. She turned to see Clarence, the janitor, his gray hair peeking from under a worn cap. He was in his late 60s, with kind eyes and hands rough from years of mopping floors. In his palm was the photo she'd dropped. "You forgot this, ma'am," he said softly, holding it out. Evelyn took it, her fingers brushing the faded image. "Thank you," she whispered. I didn't mean to cause a scene." Clarence shook his head. "Ain't no scene, you got a right to your feelings." He paused, glancing at the diner. "Caldwell's new, thinks he owns the place, but Rosie's is for folks like you folks with stories." Evelyn's lip trembled. "It don't feel like it tonight." Clarence looked at her, then at the photo. "That your husband?" She nodded. "George. We used to come here every Sunday. He'd play Love Me Tender on that jukebox." Clarence smiled faintly. "Tell you what, I'm off in 10. Meet me round back. I got an idea." Evelyn waited by the diner's back door, unsure why she trusted this near stranger. The alley smelled of grease and old coffee grounds, but there was something about Clarence's quiet warmth, like a favorite uncle. He appeared, carrying a small paper bag. "Follow me," he said, leading her to a bench under a street lamp. He pulled out 2 slices of Rosie's famous apple pie wrapped in napkins. "Snuck these from the kitchen," he said with a wink. "Figured you could use some sweetness." Evelyn laughed, a small, rusty sound. "You didn't have to." "Wanted to?" he said simply. They ate in silence, the pie warm and comforting. Then Clarence spoke. "Lost my wife Clara 3 years back. Cancer. Some days I sweep that diner floor just to keep moving. But I see you in there, Evelyn, holding on. You're stronger than you know." She looked at him, surprised he knew her name. "You've noticed me?" "Hard not to. You light up when you talk about George. Makes me think of Clara." They shared stories, Evelyn's of drive-in dates and George's bad dance moves, Clarence's of Clara's love for Motown records. The cold faded, replaced by a warmth neither had felt in a while. For the first time in months, Evelyn didn't feel alone. The next evening, Evelyn hesitated outside Rosie's. She wanted to reclaim her place, but Caldwell's words stung. As she turned to leave, Clarence appeared, mop in hand. "You going in?" I don't know if I can," she admitted. He set the mop against the wall. "Wait here." Minutes later, he returned, a determined look in his eyes. "Come with me." Inside, the diner was busy, the jukebox playing Blue Suede Shoes. Clarence led her to her usual booth. Caldwell spotted them, his face souring. "I told her yesterday." "And I'm telling you," Clarence interrupted, his voice steady but firm. "Evelyn's a regular. Been coming here longer than you've been alive. She stays." Caldwell blinked, caught off guard. A few regulars clapped, and Betty grinned from the counter. "That diner still plays Elvis, huh?" one called out, breaking the tension. Laughter rippled through the room. Caldwell muttered something and retreated to the back. Evelyn sat, her heart pounding but lighter. Clarence slid into the booth across from her. "Told you," he said. "This place is yours." Weeks passed, and Evelyn returned to Rosie's every Sunday, her booth a sanctuary again. Clarence joined her when his shift ended, sharing pie and stories. One night, she brought an old record, George's favorite, "Can't Help Falling in Love." She slipped a quarter into the jukebox, and as Elvis's voice filled the air, she smiled at Clarence. "This one's for you too." He chuckled. "Clara'd approve." The diner became their haven, a place where memories lived and new ones grew. Evelyn found her laughter again, and Clarence found a friend who understood his quiet grief. They weren't just surviving, they were healing, one kind moment at a time. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe to The Kind Story for more tales of kindness. Hit the bell icon. Disclaimer: this story is an original work for The Kind Story, created by human writers with AI assistance for formatting or narration. It reflects real-life inspired emotions and adheres to YouTube's community guidelines and monetization policies.